Everyone, welcome to TOCA. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the awkward conversations that we now have to have in our work environment.
Because okay, I feel so uncomfortable because
I don't know what to
I
say
just
after
don't know
that.
what to. I like that people are trying. I do, but especially when you're the only person, you kind of everyone. It's almost like people are looking at you different now, as if they just realized that you're black, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden they're like, "Oh, how are things?" they're being nice. They're like, "How are things going with everything that's going on?" And I appreciate it. I do, but I just now it's just like it's to the point where I'm like, okay, like it still stinks as it always did, but still here,
yeah.
you
My
know.
my group hasn't really asked me if I'm okay. They haven't really addressed it, so I guess maybe they're a bit uncomfortable about even saying anything about it. So, but it's interesting that your group actually, checks in on you to make sure you're doing well.
Like it's really nice, and that's the thing. Like they're being super nice about it, and then it's just I don't want to get. I, I'm just wondering because this is new for us as well because now we're given the space to speak, but it's just like okay, but
Hmm.
now it's uncharted territory. We don't know what to say now, like what's
Yeah.
acceptable to say because it's certain things like workplace professionalism. There's certain things you don't talk about at work, and race is one of those things where you're like, I don't know, because usually if people are going to talk about race at work, usually it's when you go to HR to report like your supervisor's racist or something. Like
Yeah.
when it comes to something like, hey, this is what's going on right now. Yeah, I don't feel good about it because like so many white people can be racist and they're saying these different things. What like
Hmm.
how do you talk about like and then if you say that and if you open yourself to say that and someone says something that hurts you, how much more do you talk about? It's just weird. I don't know what to say anymore. So I'm kind of just like bottle it up while at work and then talk with like is it something that you bottle up at work? Like address when there's definitely problems, but then bottle it up at work and then just only talk with your friends and family about it after work.
Yeah, for me, it's more so about like making sure I keep my job
No, but
than
that's the thing.
actually
That's what I'm saying. I'm
speaking
like, I don't
out.
want to say something that suddenly makes people uncomfortable and I lose my job.
Exactly, that's the thing. So they say that you have a platform to speak now, but it's like, are you really free enough to say whatever you want to say
You are
without them
not.
giving?
But yeah, I can't say, yeah, I'm concerned about losing my job because even like I responded to something that my boss had sent out. And I was saying how, no, I don't think I want to take part in this particular activity just because, you know, it's too much emotionally for me. And I just want to maintain an air of professionalism. And it's one of those weird things because then it's also like, I mean, I remember reading articles about it where it's just like, how do you navigate like you're not friends with your colleagues with the
Hmm.
people you work with, but you're not necessarily friends. You don't. Sometimes some articles say it's great to build the friendships at work. Some say it's not because then when certain professional matters occur, you it's this tricky boundary that you don't know how to navigate. But like
Yeah.
for me, I'm like I mean for all black people, it's just like okay, but these are things like our feelings about racism or disparities are things we can so freely talk about with other black people, even at work. There are other black people we can talk like there's just this understanding that we don't have with other non-black people. And then it's just like, are we supposed to have that or are we still supposed to keep people at an arm like a professional arm's distance? It's just so tricky to navigate.
Yeah, I feel like because it's so difficult and like we're not so sure what we should say and like if we should like how much we should say in the workplace. I honestly think it's just better just not to really discuss it, to be honest, because you never know what might happen. I know that they're saying now we can speak up, we can speak out or whatever, but it's just like, are you sure? We're not completely free to freely express our opinions like that. Even when we are given that platform, we still have to be careful about what we're saying. Because in all honesty,
Yeah.
if I was saying what I truly felt, I'm sorry, but they're not gonna treat me the same anymore. Like they're not gonna. I'm not saying I'm gonna say anything bad because my workplace, I wouldn't consider them racist or anything. But it's like certain things, like like always having to think about like my appearance, my skin color, my hair, and everything like that is gonna make them a little bit uncomfortable and just not sure what to do.
Right,
And
because
it's
they
gonna
don't realize
probably
how much we go through. And I'm just like
exactly.
basically when we wake up, we already have to be like, it's basically ingrained in us, like, oh, my hair needs to do this. Like, because for instance, if I was in an all black setting, like sometimes when I Zoom or FaceTime or have a Skype call with different people who are black, like my hair will be in all, like I'll look like Coolio. My hair will be all over the place or it'll be wrapped or whatever it is, but no one
Yeah.
questions it, you know?
Yeah.
Like no one questions that. But when it's a workplace meeting, I'm like, I don't want to, like, I think I did one meeting where my hair was wrapped and I felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
Like
it's
I
just
mean,
like, I don't know what to, there's certain levels of comfort that no matter, you just don't have. It's cultural things, I guess.
like for me, I mainly get concerned when I do my hair, right? If a black person's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh yeah, nice hair," you just talk about hair, that's fine because we understand each other. But I feel like in my workplace, I feel like an alien for always doing my hair. Like I feel like, oh, okay, so people don't always change their hair. Like I feel like I'm the only person that does my hair, so it makes them uncomfortable. They're not really sure what to do. So sometimes you can see them like not sure whether they should compliment me or to like look a certain way. Like they just don't know how to like take it all in. So because of that, I found myself like just wearing the same hairstyle for a long time because I just didn't want that discomfort in the workplace. I didn't want people to like feel like they had to be obligated to like comment about like make comments on my hair, or I didn't want to like look different all the time. They're like, okay, why does this girl always look so different? So I was like, I found myself always doing the same hairstyle. So someone was like, "Oh, Jackie, you can just, switch up your hair if you want, right?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's true." And I found myself missing, doing different styles. Like I found myself really missing having that diversity in my hair. So then so a couple of months back, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do whichever hair I want to do. I don't really care what anyone says. And that's where went. And they still did make comments about my hair. It's like whenever I do my hair, I'll go to the office like, oh my gosh, you look so different. I'm like,
Too much.
to me, it's hard because like it makes me feel a little uncomfortable sometimes. Like it's kind of like I'm
Ooh.
walking in a runway. Whenever I open the my office door and I get my hair done, it's kind of like, oh my god,
Same.
like it's a face show.
Every
Like
time, whenever I come back after having my hair like rebraided or something like that, I'm
yeah.
always just like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, it's just like,
Like
and then when I'm
it's
trying, yeah, whenever I'm opening the office door, I'm like, here we go. And I open the door, and they're like, oh my God, you got your hair done. Oh my goodness, wow, you look so, like, it's like I'm
and
bombarded
it's
with a whole
different from
bunch of
like when black people
comments.
are like, because it's different for black people because like usually what they'll ask is like, oh, where did you get it done? That's a nice style on you.
Yeah, where did you get it done?
Whereas
Or
like
this,
other people would be like, whoa,
mhm.
wow,
Black people will be
did
like,
you
oh, this
do? I
look, yeah, black people will be like, oh, this look suits you. Oh, this is nice. Like, how did you do your hair? And it's comfortable. You get what I mean? It's like, yeah, I did my hair this way, that this way. But it's like when
like
it
the only
comes to
time
like,
black people are like, oh, whoa, is when people do the big chop.
exactly. But then again, that's still not uncomfortable, like compared to other races. I feel
Right,
like
it's different.
other
It's just because
races,
that's it. Like that's an actual drastic change, and it's not like,
yeah,
oh my goodness. It's more like, oh wow, what made you decide to chop?
exactly. So it's just like I'm telling every time I get my hair done, I'm like bracing myself, like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to give them a couple of days to get used to my hair. I'm gonna have to accept all the comments they're going to give me every single time I've done my hair. I'm telling you. And it's just like, this is exhausting. It's like, before I started working here, nobody cared about how my hair looked. Like, it's so funny because, like, I've been around different types of people, different types of races, And I never got comments about my hair like that. Like people are just like, yeah, it was just so normal because I think maybe other races in where I used to be, like where I used to go to school or was more diverse. So people were used to like black people doing their hair, like looking different, like it was no big deal. Till I started working in like a predominantly white setting, and I'm like, I found out that okay, having your hair done every month or every other month is like something strange to them.
And it's weird because it's like you don't want to go and tell people how to, like, you don't want to tell people how to act. That makes it
Yeah,
uncomfortable too, because then once you tell them, like, oh, like, for instance, imagine having this conversation and like your boss overhears, then they're going to be like,
yeah,
okay, then I can't say anything. And you can see when you talk with
mhm,
them, all of a sudden you can see
mhm.
them like looking at you like, oh, can I say it? Oh, I want to comment, but like, you can see them holding it back in your, and then you start to feel bad. And I'm like, I the thing is like when you educate, I think, people about what it's like to be black, they start to feel bad and they like feel so sorry for themselves that you as a black person almost feel like you have to apologize for hurting their feelings.
Exactly. And then
And
also
I'm just
like
like and that's why I just basically say like I don't want to have the conversation then because I don't want to have this uncomfortable air about it.
yeah, because what I found out is that I think sometimes, especially one person that I work with, they always feel like they have to they have to praise my new hair. And it's just like, you don't really have to always praise, you don't really have to always comment on it. You get what I mean? It feels like they're
Mhm.
obligated because it's just like something so new and like so different. Like, it's okay. You don't always have to say anything about my hair. It's fine.
I know, just
It's
leave
like
it be.
I so badly want to tell them that, but I don't want them to be uncomfortable. You get?
Yeah.
It's tough. It's exhausting. It's draining. That's why like I'm really glad that this quarantine is happening because
I'm
I've saved
telling you,
myself from
being
stress.
remote provides a safety net where you don't have to go and be uncomfortable. Like, because, because then, like, I really can't imagine being in person with all of this. Because even when I have calls and they kind of
Mhm.
bring things up, I'm just like, like, at least I can mute myself and I'm like, they can't see my face.
Exactly. It's just like at least now I'm wearing my hair. My hair is free. Like there's breeze going inside of it. It's like,
I've
can I
had
actually
my hair
work?
for 3 months out of braids,
Mhm.
just being natural in its little fro, and
Exactly.
it's
Just
been
being
great.
natural. Like the only reason I don't really wear my natural hair is because like my hair looks choppy and like I don't have like my edges are horrible and that's what I'm trying to grow. But imagine I want to be able to wear my imperfect hair to work. You get what I mean? Like I want to be able to say, yeah,
Mhm.
I don't have edges, my hair looks choppy, but I still want to be able to wear it until my hair grows to be healthy. But at the same time, I find myself
And that's
having
the
to
thing
do
because then, like, putting crochet or wearing a wig, that doesn't help.
it doesn't help. It makes it worse because what I found out is that crochet has actually messed up my edges, and the problem is I have to wear a wig for my edges to grow back up, like to grow before I can like actually start wearing my natural hair. But then the thing is, isn't that the same thing as you just making sure you're covering up to make sure it's perfect before you actually show yourself? Because when their hair, breaks or whatever, they still wear their natural hair. You get? They don't have to cover it
That's
in a wig
true.
before it grows. Now I have to cover mine in a wig
That's
before it
so
grows.
true. Oh
But
man.
if you think about that, it's like okay, I have to hide in a wig before it like so it can actually look presentable, actually looks nice, and then when you
But
wear your
meanwhile,
natural
here we
hair,
are having anxiety at just the thought of
hmm
changing our hair that day. Because
exactly.
ooh,
Yeah, because and also when you do have your natural hair, you have to make sure like the style is good enough. Like you have to make sure okay, the style is not too out there. Like ooh, oh my gosh, she has like a huge afro. Like this is crazy. You have to make sure you kind of tame it and make it look neat and have like some kind of braids. Like you have to always make sure you makes it look well enough. But the thing is, don't they just wear their hair in their natural state? They wear their hair in its natural state, but
yeah,
we have to always make sure we
even when
tame
it's
it.
greasy and thin and staticky,
Some of them even walk from the shower and go straight to work
right
after
into
washing their
work.
hair.
But
Because I've
meanwhile, if
seen
we go in because of the product, they'll be like, "Oh, what happened?"
exactly. It's like I've seen a lot of like other races. They'll just get it, hop into the shower, wash their hair, and some of them their hair is even still wet. And I'm like, girl, why is your hair wet? You could have
Yeah.
like I use these use we use a blow dryer or something. Like I'm not trying to make fun of or anything, but it's just like that's what I'm saying. That's the privilege. Like,
You said, but why is their hair wet?
because I'm like, you could have at least dried your hair. Like that's the thing.
Oh. But that's true. You know what? These are
Yeah,
things that are really highlighting. I'm
that's
just like,
that's an
wow, I
example.
really didn't think.
That's the
And that's the thing, because I keep, and every day, I mean, while we're remote, I have the most confidence when we're remote. I'm just like, you know
oh me
what? When
too.
we go back in the office, I'm gonna wear my natural hair. And then when I say, every time I
But
see that we're in a new phase, I'm like, I'm scared.
think about that. You have to gain boldness to wear your natural hair.
But I
If
know,
but think about how you have to gain the courage. They don't have to think about gaining a courage to wear their hair, but you have to gain the courage to wear your hair. Like for me, it's going to be hard for me to wear my natural hair to work because it's probably be the first time and stuff like that. So it's going to be like, wow, like, oh my God, I have to actually gain the confidence and the courage. And, but them, all they have to do is wake up and go to work. That's it. Like, there's no, oh, I need to have confidence to rock my hair today. I need to like make sure it looks
no. And
good. So I
the
can
funny
get.
thing is, like, they like buzz cut their hair sometimes too,
Hmm.
and no
Yeah,
one says anything. They just
and then
say,
no,
"Oh, they look like an activist. Oh, they're so bold," but we do it, and we're just
hmm
bald people.
yeah. So it's like imagine the confidence and courage we have to like gather just to be ourselves.
And then the next thing is that, like, even thinking about it, like, if we do, imagine how many Black people are going to go back to work with natural hair. Like, are people going to be like, "Oh, they're doing this now because
Do
of
you
the
know they
new
said
civil rights movement"?
no, do you know they said that this quarantine they've noticed that most like a lot of black people have been chopping off their hair to start this whole natural hair journey. What do you want to know why? It's because when they were at work, they didn't have the confidence to do that. But now that they're hiding at home, they can hide at home to grow their hair. Before
What I'm doing now.
that's exactly what I'm doing too. I'm
That's exactly what
transitioning
I've been doing,
because
honestly.
when I
Because
was
I've
at
been
work,
transitioning for the longest time. I kid you not, I've been transitioning every time I would wash and braid my hair, within like, as soon as it's dry, within a few hours, I braid it again. This is the first
exactly.
time that I'm actually, for the last 3 months, actually washing and, like, I mean, barely wearing. I still wear it in like like small braids, like
Yeah.
flat twists. But like,
hmm But think about it. Why couldn't
it's
you have that
crazy.
while you were at work? Why do you have to hide behind quarantine? That's because you have to somehow try to make sure that they're comfortable. Like you couldn't just say, you know what, I couldn't just say, you know what, I don't want to wear crochet this month. I just want to wear my hair. Like I couldn't just do that because I knew the state of my
And
hair.
the sad thing is that, because like, even when they do that, people will be like, "Oh, how did," like, and then if you wear your hair natural and then you braid it again, they'll be like, "Wow, your hair grows so fast."
Exactly. Like
And
I
I'm just
couldn't.
like,
That's why
wait, I'm like, that's legitimately not even biologically possible, but okay.
honestly, honestly, oh, you know what? I know a lot of people didn't used to make too many comments about my hair when I was like growing up and stuff, but some white people did used to say, "Oh, your hair grew overnight." Oh my gosh, like wow, So
Yeah,
those are
no,
the
that
little
happens all
comments
the
I
time.
would get.
You know that I wore a wig during a
Hmm.
meeting, and this thing, like, my hair is black, maybe a dark brown. This wig is like a light brown. I kid you not. And
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh wow, you straightened and dyed your hair," and I'm like, no. And honestly, and the funny thing is that I was just like, "Yep," because I just didn't want. And the thing is, it was so innocent. Like, honestly, it was kind of cute because it was so innocent. And I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, look at that. They don't know."
Yeah, they're not. It's not because they're being racist. They're just not. They don't know. That's the thing. But at the same time, us talking
But to
about
me, like,
just something
something like that, to me, that's not like ignorance or even racism or anything. That's just like, they don't know. And that, like, to me, like, that's one of those, like, it's
exactly.
okay, they don't know. Like, to me,
But
I
you know
find it
what?
almost a little endearing.
Hmm. Us talking about this hair thing kind of highlights the pain and the problem that we actually have that we did not know. Because why is everybody hiding behind quarantine to start transitioning and to start cutting their hair? Why
But
didn't they do
also
that when they
realize,
were at work?
but realize that even then, we talked about this before. How we're just like,
Hmm.
it's only if we like go to like I would, because originally I was gonna be like, oh, like at first I remember in college I was like, oh, maybe when I graduate that's when I'll go natural. Then I was like, you know what,
Hmm.
maybe when I get into med school that's when I'll go natural.
Hmm.
Maybe
Exactly.
when like I get a new job or something, that's when I'll go natural. But
Hmm.
no, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe in the new year I'll go natural. Like, how is it that we always have to
Hmm.
think about that? And it's not because natural is difficult. It's because
Hmm. You don't want the
we.
shock
It's almost like
factor.
we just need to find exactly. I just can't handle the shock factor. I can't do it.
That's the thing because you always say, let me play it safe. So let me wait till it's safe. Let me wait till it's safe before
Mhm.
I become myself. Why is that? Because for the longest time, like I love doing different hairstyles. It's not because I hate our hair texture. I love afros, but I love doing different hairstyles. But sometimes there's some months where I don't want to do crochet. I just want to wear my natural hair. Like I don't want to put stuff on my head. I
And
don't want to wear
especially in the
wigs.
summer too.
Mhm. Because I
Because in the
my
summer, I mean,
hair.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm on vacation, I don't care what it. I'm not wearing my natural hair. I'm wearing braids just because I want to be able to just wake up and go.
Exactly.
And like
Exactly.
that's that I don't I and that's not even a matter of like saying, oh, no, you don't appreciate your natural hair, it's difficult. No, I legitimately, if I'm on vacation, I'm braiding my hair just because I don't want to have to think about anything but being on vacation. But
Yeah. Oh,
and then
yeah.
in the winter, it's good to braid your hair in general because when it's dry, you need to like extra moisturize, and it's better to
Hmm.
have it, you know. But in the
But
summers, like aside from vacation, like when you're on vacation, like spring and summer, that's the time you want to have your hair out
exactly. But
because
that's the thing. It's
it's
like.
too hot under a wig.
That's the thing. I don't mind people wearing wigs. I've worn wigs. I've worn crochet, whatever. But the problem is, I want to be confident enough to just be have options. Like I'm able to wear. Like
Yeah.
for example, I want to go to work next month and not have my hair done. Like I just want it to be the way it is right now. I just want to be able to step into the
Mm.
office and just have it this way. And then when I do feel like doing crochet, then I would go back to doing crochet. If I feel like doing braids, then I'll do braids. I want to have that confidence and option and being truly myself and doing what I feel, what makes me feel comfortable. But we don't have
And
that.
it's tough because there's two boundaries we have to get over. It's the fact that like yes, people are being more inclusive because isn't it just like in the last like year or two that people are suddenly like starting to accept dreadlocks because they used to
And
like
no,
say like, oh, like I think it was in a wrestling match like a few years ago or
mhm,
maybe even just last year that they cut off someone's locks.
yeah, but people are not
And
fully accepting of dreadlocks even till today.
I
It's just
mean,
it's
granted, some
more.
black people aren't because I'm telling you, my mom, she does not like those.
Oh, my mom does it because you know what I told my mom. I was like, I want to get sister locks, and you know what she told me? She's like, people are not going to hire you with having dreadlocks or sister locks on your head. That's what my mom straight up
Mm.
told me. She said that one of her friends had dreadlocks. She had those tiny, tiny locks, and now she has to wear a wig because of her job. In fact, they're
Mm.
not going to. She just said they're not going to hire you, and you're not going to keep your job. Because I was at a point where I'm like, I'm tired of having to do my hair. I just want my hair to just be the way it is. I'm just over it. And she's like, no,
That's because
like
there
they're
are
not going.
times, and the funny thing is that that's something that I think every single race faces. There are days where you wake up and you just your hair does not cooperate, and you just don't want to do anything with it. But it's
Exactly.
but it's and then so like for them they'll put it in like some messy bun, but for us
Exactly.
we can't just do that.
Like I even considered sister locks because first of all, I like sister locks, and secondly, I think maybe I probably thought to myself they're probably more accepting of sister locks than like other dreadlocks or whatever because that one technically looks like a fro. It doesn't really look like the typical like dreadlocks. And that's still kind of wrong because like what if someone really wants the typical dreadlocks, the regular ones? It's like but they have to think, okay, which one is more acceptable?
And
in the
that's the thing, it
workplace.
comes down to like the same way like for people with tattoos, like it's like they
Hmm.
automatically judge. Like if you have tattoos or if you have locks or something, people automatically judge like, oh, like we
Yeah.
already like already like we're judged based off our race. It's like we're trying to make it so that just because we're black, it's just like it's almost like we're trying to prove, hey, we can do other things too.
Yeah.
Like we
This is,
can look a
you
little
know,
like you by having straight hair or whatever
yeah,
it
but
is.
you know, this is actually a form of mental illness that we don't know we have. This is
Listen,
actually a form of mental
I'm
illness
I believe it.
because
Because
like
and
we're
the funny thing is that I think that the first step is other people accepting us, the next is us accepting ourselves.
yeah,
Because
because
can you imagine if like honestly for real, like if for instance racism, it's not going to happen, but let's say racism dies,
hmm
psychologically, like will black people be able to really accept that, or will we still have these things ingrained in us?
I mean, some people will still have it ingrained because this is passed down from generations and from like oppression. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard to actually
Like
unlearn
it took
some
400 years
things.
to become how we are. It's going to probably take another
Mhm.
400 to unlearn this
Another
behavior.
400 to unlearn everything. That's tough. It's tough because you even have some parents now that even saying, oh, they want to like want make sure their children have good hair, this and that. Imagine the children are hearing this and that just gets passed down. You get? So
Yeah,
it's a
that's
long road, and I
true.
do think that we have like us as Black people, we have a lot of issues that we need to like tackle. That's the thing. Like even
Mhm.
something as simple as hair, we're talking about as if it's something a do or die affair. Like it's like we can't even wear our hair and be ourselves without being looked at as
See,
somehow,
like
you
this is why
know?
we're going to die early because this is a lot of stress and anxiety. This is going to lead to strokes
Yeah.
because just our
But
hair,
you
like
that's
if our hair,
mhm,
just waking up in our hair is the first problem and a plethora of things that are going to happen throughout the day that we have to face, that's insane.
yep, exactly. But
Because it's
imagine
our
we're
hair, it's
doing
how we
these
dress,
things.
it's how we talk, it's what job we have, it's where we live, it's everything.
Exactly. Our parents were just silent about these things. That's why we're all like feeling the pain of all of this that is going on because our parents were just silent. They just took whatever job they were given, closed their mouth, made sure they got their job done, went home and paid the bills. They were like, we don't have
Mm,
time to be fighting for equality. We don't have time to be fighting for a hair in the workplace. You know, we have bills to pay. And because of that, we're suffering that and we're trying to change that. Because if our parents had fought for us like at work or whatever, maybe we wouldn't be thinking this way. Yeah, but it's just the whole thing, just something as simple as hair, as simple and the hair that God made, God created, it's an issue.
it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough to be.
So
It's a. Yeah.
So even when we were talking, I was saying that when I start my next job, I'm gonna just wear my natural hair. Imagine that I'm trying to make sure my new workplace work environment is used to my natural look. Like I'm already trying to make sure they're used to it so they can be comfortable.
And the
These are
thing
things
is
that
that
we're
even if
trying.
that were the thing, and that's like I can see for sure that like because now it's I've already started the journey, but like
Mhm.
if I were to go somewhere else, I think that would be the first thing. You know, yeah, for sure, get them used to it. But I think that after like when we are back in office, I think my first step is I'm gonna try and just wear my hair naturally
Mhm. Like
and
even
see.
mine, I'm like, okay. Even mine, I'm just like, okay, is it gonna grow healthy looking enough for me to actually wear it out, or am I gonna have to wear a wig? Definitely address it so we can like find solutions on how to deal with these issues.
Mhm.
So thank you guys for listening to our podcast today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more videos.